11 weeks have come and gone, and now season 16 of the Simulation Football League comes down to this. It's time for a Texas two-step as the Fort Worth Toros visit the Lone Star Glory with a ton at stake here in Week 12. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Medal of Honor Field in Denton, Texas, alongside producer extraordinaire Cameron Irvine, our statistician Delaney Nash, and my partner Stephen Mullinax. I'm Tim Hackett. You're watching the Simulation Football League live on For the Fans. Happy to have you with us. Two of the better teams in the league reside here in the state of Texas, Stephen, but for them, nothing is secure here in the regular season finale.
Yeah, you're right about that. This game means a lot for postseason positioning, especially for the Lone Star Glory. A win in this game secures themselves the 8th seed. They would get also a home game in the postseason to play the 9th seed, which would be either Jacksonville or Vancouver. A loss today by Lone Star and a Los Angeles Lycans win and a Houston win on Wednesday could threaten their postseason hopes. So they really need to come away with a victory. For Fort Worth, their place in the postseason is assured. Where they're going to place in the postseason is what is in question. A win today against LSG, and the Toros can secure the number 3 spot at 9-3 in the playoffs. If they lose, they drop down to the number 4 spot.
So much was up in the air entering action today. Fort Worth didn't know if they would have a first-round bye or if they would have to play in the first round next week. A lot still up in the air for Lone Star. If they lose today, they could miss the playoffs entirely starting next week. But because of the two earlier results already this afternoon, a lot more things about this playoff picture have started to crystallize. But either way, these two teams want this win here in Week 12. It's the I-35 rivalry. These two teams separated by less than 45 minutes straight down the highway in the center of Texas. Lone Star will kick off at home. They're undefeated all time against Fort Worth in 2 previous meetings, and the Toros will receive the kickoff away. Cade Stevens ready to return, and he will do so. We are underway from Denton. Stevens, a big return out across the 40-yard line and a good start field position-wise for Fort Worth here in the regular season finale. The Toros have had an amazing turnaround from year 1 to year 2, 5-7 last year in their first year of existence. This year, 8-3, trying to move to 9-3. And like Steven said, that win would give them the number 3 seed in the SFL playoffs coming up next week. But of course, Fort Worth would not play next week. They have a first-round bye already locked up, thanks to Florida's win over Jacksonville earlier this afternoon. Cameron Curtis will give off to Jason Williams. The first play of the game from scrimmage. He runs right side and picks up 5, tackled by Brian Craven and Freddie Trammell.
Tim, we've had the pleasure of watching this Fort Worth Toros team play a lot this season, and we have seen the maturity and the growth of this team elevate, like you mentioned, a 5-7 team last season. Now at 8-3, an opportunity to go 9-3 here, and I've already punched their ticket into the postseason.
Cameron Curtis, the rookie quarterback in his second season in the SFL, will once again give off to the veteran Jason Williams. He only picks up 1 that time. Craven once again on the stop, one of the best tacklers in the SFL. I was going to make that joke, Stephen. I mean, I think you have seen more Fort Worth games this year than anybody, except maybe for Stephen Hacker and Luis Gonzalez, the two showrunners of this team. You're an expert on this squad by now, and they've really revamped themselves from last year to this year. But one thing that has remained constant, their defense is excellent. Their offense, though, is very good and has progressed nicely as the season has gone on. 3rd and 4 from just around midfield. Again to Williams, 3 straight runs, 1 sidestep, and he picks up the first down, brought down just past the line to gain by number 57, Lewis Pfeiffer, one of the outside linebackers. 3 straight runs to the veteran, and he gets it done.
Yeah, over 1,000 yards already this season for Williams, 1,161 coming into this game, 11 touchdowns. Also starting to be a threat in the passing game, 42 receptions coming into this game. They go to him 3 straight times, shows their confidence and trust in their veteran running back.
Has really emerged as the bell cow running back. First passing play of the day for Cameron Curtis, and he links up with Stephen Hacker, the aforementioned one of the showrunners of this team, but also one of the best wide receivers in the SFL. Went over 1,000 yards on the season last week, picks up 7 there.
We talked earlier this season about the constants on this team has been their defense has just been excellent throughout their franchise history, and only if the offense could meet that same level, what a powerhouse they'd become that.
Curtis steps up, floats it right sideline, caught this time by Cade Stevens. He crosses over the middle, and he's brought down by Lincoln Kingseed. It's not been a big season for the third-year man from Jacksonville, Cade Stevens, but a big pickup that time. Fort Worth's in the red zone already.
of the most amazing things about covering this team this season was the fact that Cameron Curtis, as you mentioned, their rookie quarterback, didn't have actually a touchdown pass until week 4, which is just really deep into the season. But he's come alive here so far.
It will go back on the ground to Jason Williams. He only picks up 1 that time. Al Lewis on the stop. And to your point, Stephen, I mean, it's been kind of a middle-of-the-pack season for Curtis. You might expect that as a sophomore player in the SFL. He was a wide receiver last year, transitioned to the quarterback spot this year. So he's had some ups and some downs, but what he does not do is make mistakes. He's thrown only 17 interceptions all season that entered action today, this week, I should say, second fewest in the SFL. Now he's tied for the fewest, 2nd and 9. He will float it up here, caught again by Stevens. He's brought down for a gain of about 5 on the outside by Mickey McGuire, the veteran cornerback. So McGuire will match up on Stevens, and that means Bo Martin Jr., the second-year corner, will have to match up against Stephen Hacker.
Oh, one of the telling or the most telling stats when it comes to winning franchises is turnover differential. And it just so happens the Toros are the number 1 team in the league when it comes to that, plus 13.
Just an absolutely insane mark. And again, Curtis only 17 picks on the season. He will throw it here, lofting it over the middle. That could have been picked. Brian Craven reaches up and swats it down with the left paw. That brings up 4th down.
Yeah, old number 55 there, Brian Craven. Able to get that big paw on that 6'5", 240 frame to get up there and knock that ball down. Does a really nice job as an outside linebacker, as a pass defender. Great in coverage. Already gotten 2 interceptions here in this season. That's really good for a linebacker. We oftentimes don't see those kind of defenders come away with takeaways.
The Fort Worth's drive stalls out in the red zone, and they will bring on Taco Sicario, one of the biggest guys in the SFL, famously 5'8", 260. His first field goal attempt of the day, no doubt about it. He was 20 of his first 21, and he knocks that one through from 28 yards out. Fort Worth strikes first on the road. That was all set up by that great return from Cade Stevens, who then had 2 catches on that drive. Only had 34 catches on the season entering action today, but a big part of that opening score for the Toros.
Yeah, and puts it through right through the uprights there, gives them the nice early lead in this game. And we knew that this game was going to be, a defensive battle, especially when you get these 2 great defenses on the field, and it's proven to be worthy there. Although good early success by Fort Worth to drive it down the field, just couldn't punch it in.
Deep kickoff from Taco Sicario, and Deuce Fennick, the rookie for Lone Star, will return it, but he can only get as far as the 21-yard line. That, to your point, Stephen, that's exactly what I was going to bring up here for Lone Star, playing at home here in Week 12, trying to move to 7-5 and lock up a spot in the playoffs. But that's going to be the matchup to watch for me. Lone Star relies on its offense. You get a look at one of the reasons why there. Ace Fennick, one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the SFL. But the Fort Worth defense, as we've already hinted at, has been lights out all season. Can Lone Star exploit that here today somehow, or will the Toros have the last laugh? First pass attempt of the day from Ace Fennick is hauled in on the near side by Dave Axis, the now veteran wide receiver in his 3rd total season in the SFL. He picks, or check it, it might have been Adam Williams. My fault there. The tight end, 86, not 88. Either way, gain of 4 on first down, and they will hustle back up to the line. Fennick, deep shot over the middle of the field. A risky pass, tipped again, and it falls to the turf, and they will hustle once again.
Yeah, this no-huddle offense coming out really fast. They like something against this defense, trying to take advantage of it.
3rd and 6, that first down pass was complete to Williams. He will go back this way. It's caught again by Williams, but he's hauled down short of the sticks. A great one-on-one tackle by the rookie corner, Adam Leach, 4th down.
Well, Lone Star comes out and they run the same play 3 straight times. And the first time the little out route there to the tight end Williams worked, the next 2 times it was covered so well, particularly on that 3rd down play. The defender was right on top of him as he caught the ball, wasn't able to get across the first down marker.
Adam Williams is one of the most explosive tight ends in the SFL. Has shown that the last 2 years. The kick is blocked from Zuderveld. It's loose and picked up by Lone Star. They're going to get the first down. Unbelievable turn of events. The punt was blocked, and then a run of about 9 yards after the block, and the glory will stay on the field.
In all my years of doing the commentary in the SFL and just watching it as a coach, I have never seen this. The punt team actually picks the block punt up and runs it across for a first down. Unbelievable.
I don't know that I've ever seen that in a football game ever. Adam Leach made the block on the punter,
Wow.
William Zuderveld, who, and again, Leach just had that stop on third down to force the punt situation. And then John A. Chapman, their number 5 wide receiver, picks it up, picks up the first down. The Glory stay on the field. An absolutely wild start to this game, and we're just a few minutes underway. Fennec will now float it down the seam. What a pass, and it's caught and off to the races and to the house is Deuce Fennec. Ace to Deuce. Lone Star takes the lead.
Amazing. And Finnick able to put such an arc on this ball. Watch him load up here on the replay to get it out to the other Finnick there, the wide receiver. This is just a deep bomb. Nice job there by Deuce to go up and get the ball, and then even a better job to break that tackle for the touchdown.
Smokes Nacho Sicario. That's hard to do. The 7th-year corner. The first-round pick for Fort Worth shows out on defense, Adam Leach. The first-round pick for Lone Star shows out there on offense, Deuce Fennec. They were separated by just 5 picks in the most recent SFL draft, but Deuce Fennec gets the last laugh after John A. Chapman returns the blocked punt for a first down. On the next play, they go 61 yards to the end zone, and Hugh Purvis, who is a non-roster kicker, one of the few in this league, bangs through the PAT, and Lone Star takes the lead after 2 of the craziest plays that I've seen this season on back-to-back plays, no less.
And the Toros coming in with the top scoring defense, only allowing 16 points a game. A bit of a gut punch right there. You do everything that you need to do to force them to punt it on 4th down. The special teams fails you a little bit there, allowing that first down off the block punt. So they were super successful by blocking the punt, couldn't get the ball, and it ends up being a first down and a bomb touchdown right afterwards. Wow.
Stevens gets back out to the 30-yard line. I mean, I completely agree, Steven. They do everything right, Fort Worth, on defense on 3rd down and then on 4th down. Lone Star, it has to be said, gets the ball back by about the flukiest play you could imagine, but they take advantage of that opportunity that they are given, because then they draw up that big connection from ace to deuce, and they get to the end zone. So they take advantage of the opportunity that weird play provided them. Fort Worth can't get off the field. A little bit shell-shocked, perhaps, like you were saying after that. But they will start again with good field position. Curtis will throw, trying to answer, lost it right side, or right seam rather, and it's caught by Cade Stevens. A gain of 20 already, his 3rd catch of the game.
Well, just a great answer to what the offense is sitting there. Toro's offense sitting there watching all of this unfold in front of them, and just to come out and complete a nice 20-yard pass play like that just shows you the maturity and the growth of this quarterback in his first season here with the Toros under center. So that bodes well for them to get back on the scoreboard once again.
Let's introduce you to the rosters on both sides, like we like to do here in the SFL as we go along on this drive. But a 20-yard gain, and the Toros will start off just inside of midfield. Curtis will pass again over the middle, risky one, but feathers it in and has another first down. It's a pickup of about 11. Is that Stevens again? You better believe it. He comes up holding his hip, but the 4th catch of the first quarter for Cade Stevens. He had just 6 all of last week. The rest of the offense looks like this. Cameron Curtis is the quarterback, his first year in that role. Jason Williams is the tailback. Chris Komisak, the fullback. Stephen Hacker and Cade Stevens, the wide receivers. Robert Garrett Jr. and Lauren Percoco are the tight ends. On the ground, they go to Williams. One sidestep, cuts up the middle, and picks up 8. Nice gain, stopped at the end by Evan Lacey. The defense for the Glory looks like this. 5 stars in the secondary. Evan Lacey is the free safety. Doug Day and Lincoln Kingseed are the strong safeties. Mickey McGuire and Bo Martin Jr. on the outsides. Brian Craven and Freddie Trammell are the linebackers. The defensive line, Al Lewis and Hugo Reynosa on the inside. Jukin Rukin and Yogi Barr on the outside. After the gain of 8 on the ground for Williams, they will go back on the ground, and he's wrenched down in the backfield for a loss of 2. Great one-on-one tackle by Yogi Barr.
Yeah, Yogi Barr just gets instant penetration into the backfield and able to hold on to the big Jason Williams, the honking former fullback there's got a lot of power, but number 94 able to really just grab onto him and hold on for a ride there for a little bit and use that weight to bring him down.
Already the 6th carry of the game for Jason Williams and the 9th tackle for loss of the season for Yogi Barr, the 3rd-year defensive end. So 3rd down and 4 from the fringes of field goal range. Curtis lofts it to the top of the screen, swatted down. Doug Day elevates and knocks it to the turf. 4th down now.
A dangerous pass play there as you mentioned, the strong safety Doug Day drops down and nearly, I had an opportunity to really maybe a pick 6 right there, but instead opts to just knock it down knowing that that's going to cause a 4th down. Really lucky to get a fingertip on it there on the replay.
Remember that 20-yard catch at the beginning of this drive? Stevens,
Yeah.
Day, and McGuire cutting inside. That time he tries to cut outside, and Doug Day was ready for it. Now what does Fort Worth do? They will trot on Taco Sicario. He hit from 48 last week. This will be from 51. It'll be one of the longest kicks of his young career. Jason Russell again will hold. Hank Justice will snap. Snap is down. Kick is on the way from Sicario, and it's Taco Saturday, officially good. Well, it's Taco Sunday now. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but Worth is ready to play. Taco Sicario has two.
Yeah, he's got the leg and the compass there to make that one go through true. He's only missed one field goal so far this season. It's going to be 21 of 22 after that make. One of the most consistent weapons here in the SFL.
He's got the compass, and apparently he needs to give me a calendar. I don't know what day of the week it is, but either way, I mean, we're excited for this Week 12 game on this SFL Sunday. Not the last day of the regular season, though, the last weekend, as Fennec, who already has a big play in this game, will take it out to the 29. There is one game later on this week, a rematch of Houston and London to round out the regular season, but one more super critical game later on this afternoon on Next Level Sports. Vancouver and Los Angeles, a lot of playoff implications on the line for that game, but also tons on the line for this game as well. Like we said, a win for the Lone Star Glory on the ball right now. They will lock up a home field game in the first round of the playoffs next week. A loss, and they could be out of the playoffs entirely. You never know. Fennec will now toss it off to the top of the screen. First touch of the day for Ike McBride, the number 34 in the Lone Star Dark. Same number as Jason Williams on the other side. First catch of the day for her. She picks up 4.
Well, Ike McBride had herself a day last week. 159 yards on 19 carries, a touchdown, 10 receptions, and another touchdown against Queen City. A terrific week, and certainly not the last we've heard of her today.
And they like to throw it to her a lot. It's kind of an interesting callback to Fort Worth last season. More on that as we go. They will give it to her now. She lost the ball. It's loose, and it's picked up by Fort Worth. On the second play of the drive, Ike McBride cuffs it up, and David Horrell, the patriarch, falls on the loose ball. Fort Worth takes over.
Horrell finds himself a gift there just sitting in the middle of the offensive line, but the ball gets knocked out here, and he gets knocked out by the same guy who gets it. Horrell able to knock the ball out with his helmet and picks it up for the recovery.
And now we see a crazy play go Fort Worth's direction. They should have had a block and maybe even a fumble recovery on that block punt on Lone Star's last offensive possession, I should say. Now they get the takeaway, and they have the ball inside the 35, now trailing by 1 as we tick down here in the first quarter. Curtis from the empty set. Looks, he's pressured, fires over the middle. It's caught short of the sticks by Chris Komisak, the fullback, with a 9-yard gain, brought down by Craven.
What a luxury it is, Tim, to have a fullback like Komisak who can run the ball for you down the middle, for those short yardage gains, but also is capable enough to be a effective receiver running that little slant route.
16th catch of the season for Chris Komisak, the former member of the Ottawa Cavalry, one of the most used fullbacks in the SFL, though Lone Star has the most used fullback in Cameron Collier. 2nd and 1, they will go to Williams, and he's blown up again. Al Lewis with his second hit in the backfield of the game drops Williams for a loss.
Well, it's clear. You can see that the linebacker core here and just the front 7 of this defense is really zoned in on Jason Williams. They do not want Williams to take over this game that he is fully capable of doing. They are focusing in on him.
Top 10 in the league in carries and yards. They will give it to him again on 3rd down. Tries to push forward, and he'll give him the marker. What a stretch. Able to pull through Bo Martin, push through Bo Martin. Craven joins the party to try to stop him, but just enough for the first down for Williams.
Do they challenge this here? They do. Yeah, wow. I thought that was a generous, and I mean generous spot. It looked to me the defense did everything they could, and I think maybe successfully here, to prevent him from crossing that line. He gets turned around here during the tackle. Let's see where the ball is. He's got a good angle here. Where the ball is, oh boy, that's not the best of angles right there. Maybe this will show us. It is very tight, Tim, very close. Maybe a note card difference between it being a first down and potentially 4th down.
The savvy coach, Stephen Molinax, knowing exactly the right time to throw the red challenge flag. Brian Craven does so, and the call is overturned. So they'll mark Jason Williams a no card short of the first down line.
Yeah. And what do you do here? Do you go ahead and just
Wow.
take the points? Do you maybe go for it? They might go for it here, and with a guy like Jason Williams in the backfield, I don't blame them.
Or is this the patented bait and switch that we see in the
Oh yeah,
SFL all the time?
could be.
Play clock ticking down. It's under 20. Split backfield set and 2 wides for Curtis on 4th down and inches. Only 3 guys on the line for the Glory and 3 linebackers. Under 10 to go. You can hear the hard count from Curtis, and now he will use his team's first timeout. There it is, the bait and switch.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, that just gets you another opportunity to get in the end zone if the defense takes that bait. But well disciplined by that defense and the defensive coordinator. You could hear from the sidelines yelling him, "Don't jump, don't jump." Obviously, a well-disciplined defensive group. They're not going to fall for that here this close to the playoffs. They've been playing too many games for too long together to fall for that. Just good on them. But hey, I wouldn't even put it against Fort Worth for even trying there when you've got the former fullback back there to get you that inch. I mean, if he can't get you that inch, who can?
Yeah, no kidding. And they've got a current fullback as well as a possible candidate.
Yeah.
One of the best wide receivers in the league, and Stephen Hacker, like we said, if they want to go that route. But instead, they will trot on Taco Sicario for his 3rd field goal attempt of the first quarter. It's up, and it is good from 40. So good from inside of 30, good from 40, and good from 50. It's a hat trick for Taco, and Fort Worth is back ahead.
Yeah, hard to blame Fort Worth here just settling for the field goal. Look, he gives you the lead in this game, and we've seen some really fluky plays in this game so far, Tim. So all get the points while you can, because you just don't know if the dice are going to roll in your favor.
Mickey McGuire, we call him Gunny, saying in the FTF chat, Cam Curtis could fall forward at 6'8" and pick up a first down from that.
So true.
That's
He
very
could
true.
literally dunk the ball across the line if he wanted to.
They did not go that route. Another good kick from Sicario. He's had himself a heck of a day. Fennec will try to return, and he gets out to the 22-yard line. If you're new to the SFL, it's the Simulation Football League. It combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. A great example of that is Ace Fennec, a former first-round pick, minor league standout with the San Jose Flight, now in his 2nd season in the SFL Big Leagues. This season of the SFL minor league is coming up shortly. Here's a toss out to Cameron Collier. We mentioned him in passing, Stephen, the most used fullback in the SFL, 65 carries and now 21 catches on the year. Nobody else even sniffs that.
Oh, what a great security blanket there for Fennec on a play. That is a 90 all slants designed to go to one of the receivers or potentially the tight end there in the middle of the field. But you send out your running back and your fullback out into the flats, and it's just a security blanket there for the quarterback. A nice little game.
Fennec floats it near side this time. It's caught over the middle for a short gain. That's Greg Soto, his first catch of the afternoon. Had just 4 last week. Their biggest play, wide receiver. 75 catches for 977 yards on the season. Both of those are top 20 in the league.
Kind of settling for what this defense gives them right now, which I don't blame them for. This is the number 1 defense in the league that they're facing in Fort Worth, and they don't want to tempt fate too many times.
You said they only give up 16.5 points per game. On 3rd down, Fennec near side, wide open, first down and more. Spinning around is Dave Axis. He has his first catch of the game all the way out to the 38s.
What a terrific play call by the offensive coordinator here, just scheming the wide receivers open. Doesn't get any more open than what Axis was right there, and just made it a very easy first down.
First catch of the day for Axis, who had 55 on the season. Also 6 touchdowns, which is top 15 in the league and tops on this team. Ace Fennec has thrown 22, which is tied for 2nd in the league entering action this week. Fresh set of downs. He'll chip it out to Ike McBride. Again, they like to use her in the pass game a lot, but she has nowhere to go, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Why would you want to spend your Sunday anywhere else? We've seen it all. After 1, Fort Worth leads Lone Star. I'm Devin. This is Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Welcome back to Medal of Honor Field in Denton, Texas, alongside Stephen Mullinax with Delaney Nash in the stat truck and Cameron Irvine behind the scenes. I'm Tim Hackett. Week 12 of season 16 of the SFL. Ike McBride will get the first carry of the second quarter, and she's blown up for a loss of 2 by J.L. Browning, the second-year linebacker for Fort Worth.
Yeah, back-to-back run plays called and back-to-back losses in the backfield. So certainly we know what this side of the defense is also keyed in on, stopping that running back here. Running back's not even on the field.
20th in carries and 16th in yards entering action this week. Ike McBride, the second-year tailback. Not on the field, though, as you say. Fennick will throw on 3rd and 12, lofts it up, and it's batted down, looking for Soto over the middle of the field, and it's swatted away by Delaney Nash, the Amarillo native.
Yeah, trying to find the receiver on the post route deep in the middle of the field, but just too many Fort Worth Toros there to knock that one down easily. And there we go, a 3 and out, right back into the Toros' hands.
It forced the punt opportunity, but remember what happened the last time the Toros forced a punt opportunity. They blocked it, and then the Glory picked it up and advanced it for a first down. So Zuderveld will get this one away, and Cade Stevens ready to return, and he will do so, and he gets out to the 30-yard line. He did not start off the season returning kicks, Cade Stevens, only has returned about 15 kicks on the year, and he has moved into that role as the season has gone on and has done a decent job. So Fort Worth will take back over on offense. Again, the stakes are clear for them. They entered action today not knowing if they would get a first-round bye based on some other results. They could have finished anywhere between 2nd and 5th. They've got a playoff spot locked up. They've got the South Division locked up, have done so for a couple of weeks now, but now they know that regardless of the result today, they will have a first-round bye and will not have to play next week. But what seed is still to be determined. Williams on the carry. He picks up 1. So after Florida defeated Jacksonville earlier today, that kind of wrapped things up for the Toros. The Storm get the number 2 seed. They are 9-3. So Fort Worth could equalize them, obviously, at 9-3 with the win today. But Florida has some of the tiebreakers, and so they have cinched the number 2 seed. So Fort Worth would get the 3 with a win. They would get the number 4 with the loss. It's that easy for the Toros. From the 31-yard line, Curtis slings it this way. It's caught by Williams. Spin move by Jason Williams, and he picks up a couple. McGuire on the stop.
Well, Tim, also, when it comes to Fort Worth, there might not be a lot on the line necessarily for them, but also just as a team, just for momentum, just for chemistry, you want to go into the postseason with a win, not a loss. So certainly winning for them has a lot of other positive side effects here if they're able to come away other than just possible playoff positioning.
Certainly on a high right now. They've won their last 3, trying to make it 4 to close the regular season and go into the playoffs on a high streak. As he will float it out to the fullback, Komisak. He's going the wrong way, though, and he's able to course correct and pick up 1 before he's hit out of bounds by Brian Craven, the tackle machine, but not anywhere near enough for Komisak that time.
Yeah, just a personal flub by the player there, an opportunity to really get the first down. Looked pretty much wide open to get those 3 yards. But couldn't do so, as you mentioned, his momentum took him the opposite direction there. A little confusion, and suddenly another 3 and outers we're seeing as these offenses have been stalled by these great defenses.
Ray Einhorn will come on to punt for the first time today, and Deuce Fennick will call for and make a fair catch. It's been a decent year returning kicks for the rookie kick returner, Deuce Fennick, who we've already seen get into the end zone via a long touchdown from Ace Fennick, who will trot back onto the field right now. Let's introduce you to both sides of this coin as Lone Star takes over on offense for the second time in the second quarter. Ace Fennick is the quarterback, Ike McBride the tailback, Cameron Collier the fullback, trio of wide receivers, Dave Axis, Greg Soto, and Deuce Fennick. Adam Williams is the tight end, and this offensive line is anchored by Rylan Caudill and Bobo Caudill, 75 and 76 in the blue at the guard spots. On first down, pump fake from Fennick, and he'll float it out to the top of the screen. It's caught by Greg Soto. He's able to pick up 7. The defense for Fort Worth looks like this. Catherine Horrell on the inside of the defensive line, Gary Marks and Joey Schwint on the outside. Linebacking core, David Horrell, E.K. Vinson, and J.L. Browning, and 6 stars in the secondary. Aiden Davis, Nacho Sicario, and Adam Leach on the outsides, and the safeties, Ben Stone, Blake Prine, and Delaney Nash. 2nd and 3 after the gain to Greg Soto, his second catch of the afternoon. As we're just past noon here in Texas time. Up the middle goes McBride. She cuts outside and picks up the first down, hit from behind by Catherine Horrell, one of the best interior defensive linemen in this league, but Ike McBride shows her up on that one.
In a power formation and a power move by McBride, the shoulder charge that launches the defender into another stratosphere for a moment. Oh goodness, he probably was thinking he was playing in a pee-wee game there for a second, taking him back to his childhood on that hit. My goodness, laying the wood out there.
When McBride came into the league last year, and I got to see Fort Worth from a distance, I never got to see them in person. This is my first time, but she was kind of a power back, kind of was prone to doing a thing or two like that. But now they're using her a lot more as a pass catcher, and they will try to use her as a power back here, but she has nowhere to go. Delaney Nash, the safety, comes up and makes the play. His second tackle for loss of the season, and Horrell was there too.
Interesting. Anytime that McBride tries to write on the right-hand side of that offense, the defense seems to be right on them. The one time they've gone to the left, it's been a really good gain for them. So might be needing some coaching adjustment here at halftime.
2nd and 12. Fennick will throw this time, looking for Deuce Fennick, and he has Deuce Fennick. Slips around Nacho Sicario, I believe it was, and he tiptoes out of bounds for a gain of 5. You look at the numbers early on for Fennick. Obviously, that big touchdown catch of 61 yards put him over the top. He's already surpassed his total from last week, 64 receiving yards on 6 total catches, but it's been a really strong rookie season for him. Spent his minor league career in Ottawa, the former runners-up, and now joining Ace Fennick here with Lone Star in the pros. From the 46, Ace Fennick bullets it. Pass is caught. Another first down for Lone Star. Once again, Ace to Deuce, and they move the chains. Horrell on the stop.
Well, they're starting to make it look easy. This Fennick to Fennick connection here obviously is paying dividends for this team and has so far this season. Deuce Fennick coming into this game, 55 receptions for 715 yards and 5 touchdowns. Doing just a nice job there on the slant route and wide open.
On the 45, they'll go back on the ground to Ike McBride, and she is wrenched down from behind by E.K. Vincent. I like to call this linebacking core for Fort Worth the law firm because of all the initials that they have. E.K. Vincent and J.L. Browning, and then David Horrell in the middle, the former number 1 overall pick, second-year man now out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The guy that I call the patriarch has already had big impact on this game. EK, though, on the stop that time, gain of 3 on the ground for McBride, one of her longest on the ground so far. They would go back to her here on 2nd down, and she's once again blown up by EK Vincent. Pile driven to the ground. Nash was there, too.
And I particularly like the fact that both of these offenses are trying to stay balanced. They're keeping their running game going, even though they've had some troubles here, particularly Lone Star getting McBride going in this game. Because of the potential that she has to take over a game, they're not going to give it up, even on 3rd down.
They go to her on 3rd down, and right on cue, she rumbles forward and picks up enough to move the sticks.
Wow. I'm sure just like everybody else at home, including Fort Worth, was probably thinking that was going to be a pass play. That's what we've seen traditionally from this offense. Go for it on 3rd and 4. So just a lot of trust in that running back. And after the kind of performance she put up last week, I don't blame them.
A career day, like you hinted at earlier, 19 catches for 159 yards and a touchdown, over 200 all-purpose yards with a receiving touchdown, but nothing doing for her there. They'll go back on the ground. She's blown up, and leaving the scene of the crime is Ben Stone, the free safety. And E.K. Vincent, was there as well.
Well, this has been, Lone Star's most consistent offensive series we've seen in this game, outside of right after that block punt for the first down and the bomb for the touchdown. They've been steadily moving this ball down the field on the edge of field goal range right now.
10th play of this drive. On the ground again, they go to McBride. Rumbles up, breaks through a tackle, and a gain of 9 for McBride. Hit at the end by Delaney Nash, but that was her best run of the game. 3rd down and short now.
Yeah, and just out there delivering punishment right in the middle of the field there. Let's take a look at which one she targeted here. She's not looking to avoid contact. She's looking to give it, and boy, does she on that play.
9th carry of the game for McBride. Like we mentioned, they don't use her a lot on the ground. They are one of the most pass-heavy teams in the SFL. Fennick is 4th in the league, an average of 42 pass attempts per game. McBride just 180 total carries, an average of 16 per game. That's 20th out of 24 teams. 3rd and 3, they will bomb it down the left sideline, and it's knocked away. Soto was there in one-on-one coverage. Aiden Davis, the Houston native, swats it away. 4th down.
Yeah, that's interesting. On 3rd down and 3, you decide that's the moment you're going to take your shot and go to Soto on the fade route and get him one-on-one deep into the end zone. Just a ball underthrown just slightly there, enough for the defender to get his hands on it.
He's got 8 picks on the season, top 10 in the league, and now he's got 8 pass deflections as well. So Lone Star will trot out Hugh Purvis, again, one of the non-roster kickers in this league. There aren't too many. Most teams decide to invest in a kicker. Lone Star does not. And so Purvis will come on to attempt his first field goal of the game. It flutters up, and it sails through from 43, and Lone Star takes the lead again.
Well, let me tell you, as a person who's on a team with a non-star kicker, even these closer ones, you're just on the edge of your seat. You're not quite sure if it's going to go through or not. Surely not guaranteed as much as having one of those star kickers. But hey, that one was true right down the middle. So give him a little bit of a confidence boost. Maybe something they could use later on in this game. They might need it.
If you're new to the SFL here in the regular season finale, you can allocate your roster any way that you want. You only have a certain number of star players, feature players, if you will. You could choose to use one of those spots on a kicker or maybe a punter if you want. Not all teams decide to do that. Nate Stevens will try to return, and he has been really solid returning the kick so far in this game. Keep up with the SFL and its teams on social media at Simulationfl. Follow us on Twitter for weekly broadcast schedules to discover team content and to stay up to date on SFL news. Let us know who your favorite team is or how you enjoy the broadcast each week with the hashtag #MakeAnImpact. Thanks for your support and viewership. Week 12 of Season 16 of the SFL, and it has just absolutely been mind-blowing in a good way to see how much this league has swelled and grown under Cameron Irvine's guidance over the last couple of years. Fort Worth now trailing again. Cameron Curtis will float it up to the top of the screen, hauled in for a gain of 4 by Stephen Hacker, his second grab.
Yeah, a terrific job there by the receiver. Hacker actually was wide open there on the little up and out route. And actually had to wait for the ball to get to him. Does a nice job of just slowing up his momentum so that he's able to stop before going out of bounds and allows this to be a 4-yard gain.
2nd and 6. Lone Star showing a little bit of pressure. They will send 4. Curtis again slings it top of the screen. It's caught by Jason Williams, actually, but he is not able to stay in bounds. They will call him out.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird formation to have your running back all the way out there set up as a wide receiver, and then to have him just go on a little short out route. Just his momentum took him out of bounds, not able to bring that one in.
Only 42 catches on the season entering action today for Williams, and that is just a complete paradigm shift from how they used him last season with Xander Gold as the quarterback. 3rd and 6. Curtis, now the quarterback, will throw it into triple coverage, and it's hit 3 times, and it ends up falling to the turf. Al Lewis, you see him there, had the pressure. Lincoln Kingseed had the deflection. 4th down.
Yeah, that had disaster written all over it, and surely the Lone Star defensive coaching staff is flipping out over there. The opportunity to really come away with it. They get this 4th down and stop the Toros, and going to force another punt. Let's see how this one works out for this team. But as far as having an opportunity to come away with a takeaway, boy, that was one they probably wish they had. I wish they had. They almost did.
Especially since Fort Worth does not give the ball up much at all. Like we said, best turnover differential in the SFL. Fennec will try to return this punt from Ray Einhorn. He gets out to the 31. Curtis has only thrown 17 interceptions. Lone Star has not been great at taking the ball away, though. Only 22 takeaways on the season. Middle of the pack, 14th best. And their turnover differential is -3, which is one of the worst in the SFL. And they're, of course, -1 today after that Ike McBride fumble earlier on in this half, recovered by David Horrell. His first fumble recovery this season. Lone Star will take back over, now on top by 1 after that kick from Purvis. Fennec, quick drop, 1 pump fake, floats it up near side, and he did not put that in a good spot for Ike McBride. Sends her out of bounds for a loss.
Yeah, that pump fake really took up too much time for McBride, who's a speedy back on her route there, and then by the time that Fennec decided to get it out to her, her momentum took her out of bounds. And that's Fennec, that's going to be a rare incompletion. I don't even know if they're going to call that even an incompletion or not, to be honest with you. But 10 of 12 so far, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and 110 yards passing. Pretty efficient on the day.
Down, and they will go back to McBride to try to get some of that yardage loss that I guess was technically a completion, and she's only able to pick up 2. She runs right into Catherine Horrell. That won't be a TFL, Stephen, but the second-year pro now from Winston-Salem, one of the best rookie defensive tackles last season. Somehow she has exceeded those expectations, exceeded her own stats here in year 2. She's just raised the bar for herself. She's been great here as a sophomore. Hard to do. she is able to do it. 3rd and 9 now, one of the longest that Lone Star has faced. Fennec will throw, and it's caught wide open, and going off to the races is Dave Axis. No one will catch him for the 2nd time today. Lone Star has a huge touchdown bomb from Ace Fennec. Dave Axis has his 7th score of the season.
Oh, the diva himself able to get open, and it all comes to that separation, that missed opportunity there by the defender, leaving Axis wide open. Let's take a look here. Just a nice little post route towards the middle. The defender mistimes the tackle, and he is gone for the races into the end zone.
No one was left to stop him after that one miss, and sometimes it's all it takes. There it's Delaney Nash, the strong safety for the Toros. Just one bad route to the ball, and Dave Axis is far too talented, far too fast, and he makes the Toro defense pay.
Tim, it has been these big chunk plays that have really put the Lone Star Glory in the position that they're in right now, and that's unusual for Fort Worth to be giving up these kinds of plays. Let's not forget, coming into this game, that the Toros defense was limiting teams to 16 points a game. With this extra point attempt, they're going to be above the average through the first half.
Purvis sends it up and in, and just like you say, Lone Star has now exceeded the average of points that Fort Worth allows per game on the season, 16.3, best in the league. No one else really comes close, and Lone Star has surpassed that here, not even through 2 quarters of play. The second long bomb of this contest, the first one 61 yards from Ace to Deuce, that one from Ace to Dave Axis, and Lone Star has its biggest lead of the game with 2:43 left until halftime. You know that this game means a lot to both teams. It is a rivalry game. Lone Star has never lost it, won both meetings last season, of course, in Fort Worth's first season in the league. Lone Star rebranded the former Seattle Tyrants. This was a former offensive just juggernaut when they were in Seattle, kind of middle of the pack their last season, and then last season their first as Lone Star was good, and now under second-year quarterback Ace Fennec, they are very good. But the Fort Worth offense has really progressed over the course of this season, like we've talked about. The Lone Star defense has had some hiccups at times this year, but now they're playing with an 8-point lead, 2:40 to go until halftime. Curtis from the gun floats it up to the top of the screen again. We've seen that play a couple of times, but this time it goes to Lauren Percoco, and this team, Fort Worth, uses their tight ends so much. That's the first time that either of them have even been targeted in this game.
Yeah, that's really unusual, and you know, Robert Garrett Jr. and Lauren Percoco are one of the best, if not the best, tight end duos in the SFL. Over 100 receptions combined and 6 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards combined.
Cameron Curtis loves Robert Garrett Jr., but hasn't even looked his way so far in this game. On second down, on the ground, they go to Jason Williams, spins around a couple of times, and he's brought down by Doug Day, who is approaching 400 tackles in his career. And to my point, Stephen Hacker and Robert Garrett have combined for 129 catches entering action today. That's 48% of Cam Curtis's completions go to just those 2 guys. They only have 2-star wide receivers to go with those 2 tight ends. 2-minute warning here in Denton, Texas. The home team on top by 8 in Week 12. This is the SFL on For the Fans. 2-minute warning in the first half here from Medal of Honor Field. Tim Hackett and Stephen Molinax here with you live. Week 12 of Season 16 of the SFL. The I-35 rivalry, Fort Worth and Lone Star for the third time ever. On third down, Curtis will float it to the near side, and it's caught short of the sticks by Cade Stevens, who's been big in this game, Stephen Molinax, but he's not able to get the job done there.
Just runs out of room there, and just a nice little, trying to get that little short out. You got to be aware of where the first down marker is. And the two just couldn't connect in time and have enough space to get across the line.
So now Lone Star with all three timeouts. Now underneath the 2-minute warning, obviously, will prepare to get the ball back unless something crazy happens on a punt. You can't take it for granted, as we've already seen in this game. Einhorn will get it away with no problem. No pressure coming from Lone Star. That sets up a return opportunity for Fennick, and he gets out to the 28-yard line. Coming up on the SFL halftime report, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green break down the first half between the Toros and the Glory and update you with the latest playoff scenarios and confirmations for hopeful postseason participants. It's all coming up on the SFL halftime report. Just in less than 2 minutes of time. Like we said, lots at stake for both of these two teams. Lone Star, a win and they're in. A loss and they could be out. It's not a sure thing. They're still in the driver's seat even with a loss, but a couple of other things could knock them out of the playoffs. Fennick hit, floats it up, and it's dropped. Could have been picked by Ben Stone. And check it, Stellani Nash, 41, not 21. Either way, it could have been picked, and Fennick dodges a bullet.
Yeah, that could have been used. Obviously, the pressure there on the quarterback got to him, made him overthrow that, or throw it a little bit earlier than he wanted to. And then an opportunity by Nash to really flip the script on this game. Just couldn't quite get it there. But it keeps Lone Star in the opportunity here to build on their lead before halftime.
Fennick really has not thrown all that many interceptions this season, but he has thrown a lot lately. Could have been his first of the game. They'll go back on the ground to McBride trying to play it safe. She picks up about 5, but there will be a flag on the play. And even after all the craziness that we've seen in this game, Stephen, I think this is our first real penalty.
Yeah, and it's going to be a face mask there. Wow. And just trying to bring down the running back by all means possible. And in that particular case, got the hand around the face mask and tried to bring her down with that. At some point, you got to pull out all the stops, but maybe not at this point of the game. That might not be called for, but probably doesn't cost them there too much.
That's not one of the tactics you want to use to try to bring down Ike McBride. They whistled David Horrell for that infraction. He has been all over the place. Remember, he had that forced fumble and fumble recovery earlier on in this game to set up Fort Worth's third field goal. That put them ahead. Lone Star has since taken the lead. On the fresh set of downs, Fennick guns it in, and it's caught for a short gain. That was a nice pickup there from Dave Axis, who had the second Glory touchdown, his 7th of the season.
Now they got trips right there, 3 receivers on the right-hand side, all differing combinations, a little bit of kind of a rub route opportunity there. But the defense stays tight to the line of scrimmage, is able to bring down Axis for a very short game.
On that touchdown, Axis went over 1,500 total yards now in his 3rd season in the SFL. Over 600 yards this season. Fennick will float it this way. It's caught by Soto, and he lowers the boom on the defensive back. I think that's Aiden Davis, but Davis is still able to guide him out of bounds 2 yards short of the line of gain.
There's still a lot of time left here before the end of the first half. 3rd and 2 here, an opportunity to give them more opportunities to try and get into field goal range. Interesting to see here if they decide to go through the air or go on the ground. We've seen Ike McBride power through some of these Toro defenders.
Of course, that play stops the clock as well. So 1:06, all 3 timeouts left. They will go to McBride, try to stretch her outside, and she gets the job done. Ike McBride has another first down right to midfield, and they will hurry back up to the line.
Blocking really did all the work there on that play.
Joey Schwint made the tackle, just his 15th of the season. Fennick under pressure, floats it over the middle. It's caught for a gain of 8. David Horrell makes the stop. I think that's Adam Williams on the catch.
Stuck in this power formation. They like it.
They will throw. They like to throw to McBride here. She reaches up and makes a one-arm catch. What a play. Then lowers the shoulder and sends a defender to the ground. What a play by Ike McBride. First down, Lone Star.
That was wonderful. Yeah, as you mentioned, she actually leapfrogs to get this catch. Let's see, is it a one-handed catch? It is. Beautiful play there, and then decides to go ahead and truck a defender to get them into near field goal range. The only thing that the Toros were able to do positive on that play is to stop her from going out of bounds, leading Lone Star to use one of their timeouts.
Good point by you. Now 34 seconds left on the first half clock. And how about some love for the big man as well? Rylan Caudill, 75 in the blue. He's the left guard for Lone Star. He and his brother Bobo They're one of the best interior offensive line tandems in the league. He springs the block on E.K. Vincent to make that play possible. From the 33-yard line, they get Fort Worth to jump off sides. A free play for Fennick. Floats it over the middle, and it's picked off by Aiden Davis. A little bit of retribution for him. He will try to return it. Or it's actually Blake Prine, 20, the rookie free safety has, I was right the first time. Aiden Davis, the veteran corner, but it doesn't matter. This is all going to come out of the wash because Gary Marks jumped off sides.
And I love it. I love it when the quarterback recognizes the fact that it's going to be a penalty and takes a shot down the field. It doesn't hurt you if you get an interception, just like we saw right there, but it could give you big points on the board if you're able to connect.
Gary Marks, the former minor league linebacker turned defensive end here in the pros, second-year man from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, jumps off sides that time, a free 5 yards for the Glory. Now 1st and 5. They still have 2 timeouts left and 25 seconds left trying to add to this 8-point lead. Fennick under center, McBride in the backfield, and 4 wides. Quick drop for Fennick, has all day, floats it in. Ooh, an errant pass from Fennick. We don't see that very often. He was going for the backup tight end. Man, I was hoping we would see this guy in the game, Steven. Herman W. Kutchneister. But that was not a very nice pass from Fennick.
Now, the total disconnect between what the fullback was trying to do and what the quarterback thought he was going to do. But didn't cost them too much time on the clock, which was beneficial.
Somebody get the Lone Star folks on the line. Some of their backups are just an incredible array of names. Either way, 2nd down and 5 from inside the 30. The Glory still trying to add to the lead. Fennick bullets it, caught this time by Dave Axis, wide open inside of Nacho Sicario, 1st down.
Okay, here's an important aspect of this game we got to consider here in this moment. Is the fact that around the 15-second mark, that's when most of these SFL coaches decide they want to go for field goals instead of going for the end zone. So this could be their final opportunity really to try and get it into the end zone.
Great point. They do still have 2 timeouts left, but the time is growing short even with the non-roster kicker in their employ. The twin back set from inside the 20. Fennick pressured, floats it, caught by McBride, who breaks through another tackle, but steps out of bounds. Stone had the initial hit, and then her toes hit the white on the sideline, and now here comes the decision.
Yeah, and I think it would probably be, for most people, a no-brainer. You still got plenty of time on the clock, an opportunity to get in the end zone. Why not 14 seconds? Certainly don't want to have a turnover here to try and shift momentum, but it's hard to deny guaranteed points, and that's what they're going to do right here, and they're going to go for the guarantee, or as much as a guarantee as you probably get.
Hugh Purvis, the non-roster kicker, like we say, on for his 2nd field goal attempt of the afternoon, made from 43 his last time out. It's one from much closer. The left hash, hold down from Jacob Parrott, and Purvis's kick is up and through. It proves to be a guaranteed 3 points for Lone Star, and they extend the lead out to 11. It's a 2-possession game now as we tick towards the end of the first half.
And success for Lone Star. I mean, and absolutely all the momentum is riding on their side. Actually able to go down the field with less than 2 minutes left on the clock and put points on the board. It's hard to want anything else other than that, and really now spearheading this game going into halftime, unless something crazy happens here in the next 11 seconds.
Glory have now scored on their last 3 possessions and 4 of their 6 possessions here in the first half, and they lead by 11. Short kick from Purvis. Opportunity for Stevens to return. He's had a couple good ones so far, and he's off to the races with 5 seconds left. Cade Stevens to the sideline, and no one's going to stop him. Cade Stevens has a kick return for a touchdown. We've seen everything. Fort Worth's right back in it. First career kick 6 for Cade Stevens.
Unbelievable. That 11 seconds left on the clock. A lot of times we see that doesn't end up to be anything. Here it means everything for Fort Worth, as he just does a great job of navigating. Look, maybe 2 hands on him, maybe 2 fingers, but it is just a terrific job by this special teams unit. And boy, Tim, today special teams has meant more than anything in this first half, more than maybe what we've seen in any first half of a game this season.
Unbelievable stuff. A blocked punt for Fort Worth ends up in a 1st down for Lone Star in the first quarter. And now as time expires in the second quarter, Cade Stevens to the house on a kickoff return, the first of his career. Fort Worth elects to go for 1. Too early to chase points, I suppose. And Taco Sicario caps off a perfect first half with the PAT. Fort Worth back to a 4-point deficit as the first half comes to a close. Week 12, Season 16 of the SFL. Don't go anywhere. The halftime show is coming up next with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green. You're watching the SFL on For the Fans.
Welcome to the SFL Halftime Report. Along with Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine. 20-9, Lone Star leads Fort Worth at the half. Lone Star is 22 minutes away of game time, Mike, from clinching a playoff spot.
I'll tell you what, Cam, if you are, into wacky and explosive plays, you're in the right place. We've seen a lot of crazy plays in this first half, big explosive plays in this first half. But yeah, Lone Star has come in with a great game plan. It looks like to slow down the big weapons from Fort Worth. Jason Williams has, struggled to get off the mark in this first half. And other name that I have failed to hear this first half is Stephen Hacker. Stephen Hacker had almost a 200-yard game last week receiving, and I don't think I've heard his name at all here in this first half. So Lone Star defense is doing a great job of taking away the Fort Worth Toro weapons.
Earlier today, Florida beat Jacksonville 25-13. Carolina goes to 6-6, but they miss out on the playoffs. They beat Charleston in a shortened affair 20-6, and that leads us to our current playoff picture. So now we've got Mexico City still locked into 4. Obviously, Baltimore and Vancouver still have not played yet. They play in the next window. St. Louis in a 3-way tie with Jacksonville now goes to 7, right? They were 9 earlier today, and Vegas had that home game. Vegas down to 9. Vegas had a chance at a 2-way tie with St. Louis, but not with a Jacksonville loss. So Vegas will be on the road to start the playoffs. St. Louis will be at home. Again, Lone Star can clinch with a win. Los Angeles can clinch with a win. Arizona waiting on Houston on Wednesday. Past the first 2 seeds, Mike, we still don't have anybody locked into a specific seed.
And I tell you what, Cam, outside of the first 2 seeds, what I see are a bunch of teams, home or away, no matter the seed, that can probably, beat one another. I mean, I don't see any big advantage here one way or the other. Maybe, if you say Baltimore was a 5 seed, and ended up in the wild card game, could, possibly, give the 12 seed a hard time. But other than that, man, all I see are a bunch of teams that could beat one another either way, home or road. So, but we'll see how it all plays out and see who gets the advantage, slight advantage here next weekend.
Now, the update on Fort Worth's scenarios here. Fort Worth is the number 3 seed with a victory. They actually can still get the number 3 seed. I'm sorry. The only way that they are the number 4 seed in the playoffs is if they lose and Baltimore also wins, right? If DC pulls the upset, Fort Worth will still be the 3 seed regardless of whether they win or lose today. Now, Lone Star, if they win, they're locked into the 8th seed. They will play either Vancouver or Jacksonville in the first round of the playoffs. Lone Star had Jacksonville's number earlier this offseason, and of course, Lone Star, a lot of players came from Vancouver. That would be an incredible first-round playoff matchup. If they lose, Lone Star is not guaranteed out. They actually only have a 1/8 chance of missing the playoffs. If Lone Star were to lose this ball game, a Houston win on Wednesday would knock them out.
Yeah, Lone Star, Cam, as you see this team today, this is an explosive team. Greg Soto, who we haven't heard much from in this first half, he makes big plays on this team. We've seen Dave Axis, we've seen Duke Spinnick in this first half, and a big key to Lone Star's attack is Ike McBride, and no one wants to see this team in the playoffs. You're going to have a lot of offensive weapons to worry about.
We'll keep an eye on all the action. LA Vancouver coming up after Fort Worth and Lone Star. The winner of that game wins the Pacific and clinches a playoff spot. Baltimore trying to improve their positioning a little bit later on this afternoon. For now, Lone Star leads Fort Worth 20-9 at the half. We'll send it back to Tim and Steven for second half action. After this commercial break, you are watching the SFL on For the Fans.
Well, after one of the wildest first halves of action that we've seen all season here in the Simulation Football League, what will the second half entail? Happy to have you with us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon from Denton, Texas. Tim Hackett and Steve Molinax in the booth, Delaney Nash in the stat truck, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green working hard behind the scenes. Thanks for joining us. Week 12 of 12, Season 16 of the SFL. Lone Star will get the ball, now on top by 4. Deuce Fennick brings this out 2-25. You see Lone Star in the home blues, Fort Worth in the road golds. Fort Worth coming in at 8-3, Lone Star at 6-5. A win for the Glory, and it's easy. As Cam and Mike broke down for you in the second half, the picture is now a lot clearer for these two squads, a lot clearer than it was before action started yesterday and even before action started today. A win for Fort Worth, and they're the number 3 seed. A win for Lone Star, they're the number 8 seed. A loss for either side, and things get a little bit messy, but either way, a win, and they've locked up their spot in the postseason. Ace Fennick will throw, bullets it into a tight window. Nice pass, and it's caught by Adam Williams. And as I recall, Steven, that was the play that Lone Star ran on their first play of the first half, and that time it works for a gain of 8.
Yeah, they actually ran it 3 straight times. It only worked the first time as Fort Worth's defense caught on to what was happening and was able to stop them on a 3-and-out on that series. But it works well there with an 8-yard gain.
Remember, Lone Star closed the first half scoring on its last 3 possessions, 2 field goals and a touchdown. On the ground they go to Ike McBride. She is plastered. Great gain and a first down for McBride, but she's blown up by E.K. Vincent, who entered today as Fort Worth leader in tackles.
Well, we've absolutely seen McBride blow up a lot of the secondary here in the first half, but not going to do so with a stout linebacker with the frame of E.K. Vincent.
Great first half for Ace Fennick. 20 completions on 25 attempts, 80% for 222 yards. He will float it out here to Ike McBride. They pick up 5. And like we said, they've really shifted her into this pass-catching role. Didn't use her too much like that last year, but Fort Worth really did use Jason Williams, the other number 34 in that role. Pretty much this exact same roles. Almost a 50-50 split with Xander Gold as the quarterback, now with Cameron Curtis as the signal caller. Jason Williams has been more of the ground and pound type, the bell cow back. But Lone Star uses Ike McBride a lot. She caught 83 passes entering action today, averages 24 total touches per game. It will go on the ground to her here, leaves a defender in her wake, and then gets blown up right at the line of scrimmage. Not able to turn that into a big gain. E.K. Vincent again on the stop.
Well, to go back to McBride being more versatile back here for Lone Star, she's got 6 receptions so far in this game, had 10 receptions in her previous game. So certainly a big part of the offense, not just as a typical running back running between the tackles and the outside, but also as a receiver.
On third down, keeper in the backfield, and now they will throw it up to the top of the screen, and just short of the sticks is Greg Soto, who came over from Chicago in the offseason to be Lone Star's new number 1 wide receiver. He has not shown off that big play ability that he has shown off through his entire short stint here in the SFL, and that time they keep him to just 3.
Yeah, you'd love to see Soto catch that ball and turn and try to stretch it to get across that first down marker. But again, that momentum, taking those receivers out of bounds is a killer.
So Fort Worth, this great defense, which was beaten a couple of times in that first half, holds firm on the first drive of the second half. Kate Stevens, who had a monster first half, returning kicks, calls for and makes a fair catch, exemplified by that kick return for a touchdown as the first half expired. That first half had everything. 2 big touchdown link-ups of better than 60 yards for Lone Star, 1 to Deuce Fennick, 1 to Dave Axis. They also recovered their own punt that was blocked, advanced it for a first down to move the sticks, and it set up that first touchdown to Deuce Fennick. Taco Sicario made 3 field goals for Fort Worth, and they also had a kick 6, and now we have a sack. Down goes Cameron Curtis. Al Lewis has another big hit in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's going to be 8.5 sacks on the season for Al Lewis, and his 13 tackle for loss there. Just does a great job of getting penetration, using those violent hands to get around the offensive lineman and not giving the quarterback an opportunity to skirt away.
Our team leader in sacks now with 8.5, like you said, and neither of these teams give up a ton of sacks. Only 17 allowed either side. That's both top 10 in the league entering action today. Up the middle goes Jason Williams. He gets all the yardage that was lost. Picks up 4. Doug Day on the stop. And now a third down and 10 for Fort Worth. one of their longest third down situations of the day, but they have been very good on third down on offense so far this season. Better than 50%, 53, in fact, 10th best. Lone Star, one of the best on offense as well, but their defense has been susceptible. Actually, never mind. Their defense has been lethal against third downs as well. Can they come up with the stop here? Curtis is going to take off and run. We don't see this very often, and he picks up 6. Stopped though short of the sticks by Freddie Trammell, and right on cue, the Lone Star defense does hold on third down.
Yeah, just sees a lot of green in front of him and takes off, does a nice little spin move, knows that he needs to make that move in order to try and get a 4th down, use that 6'8" frame to maybe get it across the first down mark, but the defense doesn't give him an opportunity to do so.
That has been one of the biggest difference in this game so far. Third down conversions. Fort Worth will punt it away with Ray Einhorn. Fennick awaiting the return, and he's hit immediately. Looked like he had some space and then ended up not having any space at all. Ben Stone on the stop. Fort Worth now 1 of 8 on third downs in this game. Comparatively, Lone Star is 6 of 9 on third down.
Well, both of these defenses are really playing well. Lone Star obviously limiting the Toros' offense to just field goals. Don't forget the lone touchdown that they scored was on a kick return. And for as far as Lone Star is concerned, their big plays their big scores have come on chunk plays. If you go back and look at the first half, their offensive series where they scored touchdowns, which is 14 points, came on only 4 plays. So that just gives you an idea, I think, of the Toros' defense is playing them well, except for those big chunk plays that have given them 14 points and put them in the lead.
Fennick has thrown for 236 yards unofficially, and about 130 of those came on 2 throws. He will bomb it once again, looking for a hat trick, laying out to make the catch inside the 30-yard line. What a play. There is Greg Soto. The Cuban missile explodes.
They have found something against this stout Toros defense in the deep game here. Just looked like a 20-step drop by the quarterback to give his wide receiver there, Soto, time to let this route develop, and he just gets behind the defense. If the ball was just thrown just a little bit shorter, that's a touchdown, as Soto has to extend to bring it in and falls to the ground.
Remember, this Fort Worth defense is excellent. 4th fewest passing yards allowed, 2nd fewest passing touchdowns allowed, just 9 entering action today. They've already given up 2 in the contest. On the ground, Ike McBride rumbles up and picks up 8. Nash makes the stop.
We talked about McBride's power. How about the speed? Wow, just to get through all the traffic there untouched through the offensive line. Did a great job of blocking for, giving her just a slight opening there, and able to get her 6'2", 240 frame through that slight opening.
Blaney Nash telling us that gain to Greg Soto went for 29 yards, and the chat telling us he's now over 1,000 on the season. On the ground and back to Ike McBride, churns the legs forward, rumbles up, and she's stopped short of the sticks by Joey Schwintz, the defensive end who had just 14 tackles on the season. He makes back-to-back stops here, third down.
Wow, that was really close to him. I thought that was a first down for sure. It's going to make this 3rd in inches, and I wouldn't be surprised if this Lone Star keeps riding the McBride train.
Flag on the play as they try to go back to McBride, and that train does not leave the station. She's hit in the backfield by Catherine Horrell. One of the few times that we see females match up against each other in the SFL. That was always going to be a big-time battle in this game. Who's the penalty on? It's against Gary Marks again.
Wow, yeah, and this game is so tight right here. These kind of mistakes just can't happen. Can't shoot yourself in the foot and hurt your team this way. But boy, in a game that has been so full of flukes and just weird things happening, and still to be this tight and this competitive, one little thing could flip the game on its head.
Lone Star trying to jump out to a big lead. They're up by 4 as we play the 3rd. Fennick under pressure, shakes out of a hit, sidearm throw, wide open, touchdown glory. What an incredible play, and Greg Soto strikes again. 3 touchdown passes from Fennick, 1 to each of his receivers. Lone Star extends the lead.
The hat trick, Tim, and this one more beautiful than the others, as the quarterback has to get out of the wrangles of number 54 there on the defense, able to do a 360 and still maintain the composure to find his receiver in the middle of the field.
That was unbelievable. It would have been the first sack of the season for J.L. Browning. Would have been the first sack of his career for the second-year man from New Jersey. And instead, Fenech spins out of the hit, links up with Greg Soto. At that point, he was wide open, lays out to make the catch. Just as you were saying, Stephen, maybe it will take a weird play or an incredible play to be the difference in this game. Does Lone Star have that difference maker there with that link to Greg Soto? Just his 4th touchdown of the season.
Well, let's not forget what led to this touchdown was another big chunk play, another big bomb to Soto for a huge near 40-yard gain. So they have taken advantage of Fort Worth in ways that other teams haven't been able to find a way to do so. They've looked deep and found success, and that's made the entire difference here in this game.
Fenech now over 3,500 passing yards on the season and 25 passing touchdowns. Short return for Cade Stevens. He entered action today, tied for second in the SFL in passing touchdowns with 22. Only Tom Pepper of Vancouver, who's had a lethal season, has thrown more. But unlike Tom Pepper and Ron Cochran and Christian Christensen to a lesser extent, and some of the other top gunslingers in the SFL this season, Ace Fenech has all these big gaudy numbers, top 5 in the league in pass attempts and in yards and in touchdowns, but he does not throw as many picks as all those other guys do. Cameron Curtis trying to respond, flings it out to Jason Williams. He picks up 6 through the air that time. That's kind of a throwback to a play that Fort Worth ran a lot last year, and that time it works for 6 yards.
We talked about both of these teams needing this win for different reasons, but certainly the pressure was more on Lone Star, as it might even threaten, although it might be even a slight odds of threatening them not getting the postseason. That threat is still there, and we've seen them respond in different ways. But the more dangerous thing here, Tim, might be that Lone Star is giving other teams a blueprint on maybe how to defeat this defense.
We'll link up this way for Lauren Percoco, and she tries to spin around 2 defenders, but in doing so, she ended up planting her foot out of bounds. Second time that Curtis has linked up with the rookie tight end Lauren Percoco, but you see him there on the bottom right of your screen. That's the first time I've even seen Robert Garrett Jr. in this game, Stephen. He's been absent.
Yeah, it's been absolutely the invisible man in this game, and look, but there's an opportunity here to have a bit of a comeback. They need a big play here at the end of the third quarter.
He's the guy that could give it to him. Perhaps Curtis into double coverage. It's right into the hands of Doug Day. Can anybody stop him? He's got Kingseed out defending. Garrett's trying to hustle back, but he won't get there in time. A pick 6 for Doug Day, his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Glory are off and running.
Day gets a gift in the air. Couldn't have landed any simpler into his hands, but just take a look at the rumbling big man able to get down the field as the ball was tipped back to him, and Day gets that gift and takes it all the way to the end zone. Nearly caught there by number 44 there at the end, but able to get it in.
Swatted back by Lincoln Kingseed, the veteran free safety.
Right.
He swatted it back into the field of play and then ended up being the lead blocker for Doug Day to carry him into the end zone. He should have been the trailing blocker because Robert Garrett was able to haul him down from behind, but not before he crossed the goal line. A defensive touchdown, the 3rd of his career, 2nd this season. The 4th-year safety, Doug Day. Lone Star is up big now. Back-to-back big plays, one on offense, one on defense. Purvis knocks it through. Wow, you were just saying on Lone Star's offensive possession, Stephen, it's going to take a big play, a crazy play, some sort of unusual difference maker for one of these 2 teams to pull ahead. And now we've seen 2 crazy plays, one less crazy than the other. It's just a pick 6 for Day, but not the craziest play we've seen in this game, to be sure. But either way, Lone Star's now up big. Yeah,
and they've really established their dominance here in the third quarter. Their offense able to get down the field on kind of a more consistent, not necessarily, they did have a chunk play in it, but able to get in the end zone. As the special teams once again tries to make a play here for the Toros. But that pick 6, boy, that's a killer right there. I mean, not only does it extend, obviously, Lone Star's league, but just the momentum of this game and how everything's been going in this game really pointed to it being a close matchup where a fluke play could make the difference. But now all of a sudden, with this established dominance of Lone Star, it's going to take everything the Toros have to get back into this game.
They met twice last season, the Toros' first year in the SFL. Lone Star won both of them. Williams on the ground trying to right the ship, picks up 7, tackled by Lincoln Kingseed. Both of those wins, one at home for each side. Both of those wins came by double digits for Lone Star a season ago, and now they're up double digits here as we tick down in the third quarter, up 18.
Well, let's not forget here, the Toros do have the top defense in the league coming into this game. So they're going to certainly be relying on them to stop the bleeding that has happened here in this third quarter, and their offense is going to have to come to life a little bit more.
Will Curtis finally find Robert Garrett Jr.? He was trying to on that pick. That time they will go down to Jason Williams. He spins around, picks up a couple. Evan Lacey charges in to make the stop. So does Lewis Pfeiffer. Lacey, the second-round pick for Lone Star in the most recent SFL draft, coming from the San Jose Flight, the same minor league team that produced Ace Fennick, the Lone Star starting quarterback. Clearly a pipeline developing from San Jose out here to Central Texas. Curtis on third down, floats it up, wide open, top of the screen. Another catch for Cade Stevens, who's up to 7, surpassing what he had last week.
Well, this Fort Worth offense is going to need to take the leash off Curtis. Let's just be honest about that. 14 of 18, 103 yards. So, an average of just 5.7 yards per passing attempt. That's not going to get it done, especially 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions by Curtis. That's not going to get it done. Longest pass play they've had so far in this game is for 22 yards to Cade Stevens. They're going to need to look deep, take a little bit more chances here, especially as this clock continues to wind down.
Not his most important thing that he's focusing on, but remember, Curtis could finish first in the league in fewest interceptions thrown, but he's already thrown 2, and there's a big gain on the ground to Jason Williams. Rumbles right up the middle and picks up 10. Lacey brings him down.
So the question is, Tim, when does the alarm clock start going off here in this offense's head? They are running the ball, and they're doing a great job there. First down on the first carry there by Williams, on first down, which is terrific, but this clock continues to run, and if you've got an effective running game, it's great for running the clock unless you need to get back into the game and score some points.
That was Jason Williams' best run of the game, bar none. Curtis will flip it out. Once again, it's caught by Lauren Percoco. This just little tight end out route. So it's just kind of a cut route, right? And that time it gets Percoco 7.
And they just continue to dink and dunk, and it may be just a factor of this defense playing deep and just stopping anything deep from Curtis looking that far out. But and if they can just methodically move down the field, that they could get themselves back into this game pretty easily, but they've got to be aware of that clock.
Third catch of the game for Percoco after she had just 1 last week, though it did go for 21 yards. Picks up 8 that time. Second down, Curtis over the middle, pass caught by Stephen Hacker right on cue. A dart over the middle, and the Toros are inside the 10.
And, of course, it's going to be Stephen Hacker. I mean, this guy's had a terrific season. And we've talked about him leading this team in touchdowns. Their big play threat is Stephen Hacker's. Had a couple great plays, big plays in this game. None bigger than that one probably right there for 26 yards.
Matched up one-on-one on the free safety, Evan Lacey, and Fort Worth takes advantage. Now inside the red zone, inside the 10 for the first time this half. On the ground to Williams, churns forward, and he stopped a yard short of the end zone. Brought down from behind by Doug Day, who is having himself a heck of a game, approaching 400 tackles in his career, like we said, and he's also got that pick 6.
Sniff that end zone if you're Fort Worth. This is the closest they've been all game long outside of that kick return to get into the end zone. So they need to finish the job here.
It's their second red zone opportunity of the game. From the 1, split back set. Williams and Comisac, the give to Jason Williams, up the middle, touchdown, Toros. Fort Worth drums up the response, and Jason Williams punches it in, his 12th touchdown of the season.
Well, this team is 8-3 for a reason. They have faced adversity before, and they just had a very calm demeanor in this game. For me, I'm starting to think, let's push the pedal down a little bit more. Let's get this going a little bit here. Let's come to life. We've had plenty of opportunity there in the first half to try and find some sort of chemistry against this really tough Lone Star defense today. And I think it's a very good sign that they were able to punch this in before the end of the third quarter.
Second longest drive of the game for Fort Worth. Remember, they started scoring on their first 3 offensive possessions. All of those were field goals as Sicario knocks through another kick. That was their first touchdown drive because, to your point, Stephen, before that, their only score had come via the kick 6 from Cade Stevens at the end of the first half. So Jason Williams, with his 12th touchdown of the season, caps off that 8-play, 67-yard scoring drive from 1 yard out. And just like that, Fort Worth is right back in this game. Plenty of time left to play another full quarter, but still down by 11. 2 possessions as Sicario comes off to kick it away to Deuce Fennick. What can he do for a response against that kick 6 from Cade Stevens? With his heels in the end zone, Deuce Fennick out to the 23-yard line and no further.
Well, you think, as time begins to wind down and you want to use up that clock, this would be Ike McBride time. We've seen her take over this game in certain spots, certainly had some key runs, especially there at the end. If you remember, at the end of the second half, she had a key play that really got them into field goal range, allowed them to add some points there that pretty much gave them the lead, despite that little kick six that you talked about. Still put them in a great position. So Ike McBride, a lot of her and so far should be here on this series.
And they go to her here as time ticks down in the third quarter. Her 17th carry of the game. She averages just 16 and picks up 1. E.K. Vincent, another stop as we reach the end of the third quarter. 1 left to play here from Medal of Honor Field. The home team on top by 11, trying to pull off their 3rd straight win in the all-time series. This is the SFL on For the Fans. One more quarter to play from Medal of Honor Fields. I-35 rivalry in Denton, Texas. Tim Hackett and Stephen Mullinax here with you live. Lone Star ahead by 11 with the ball as we start the fourth quarter. Ace Fennick to throw. Chips it out to the near side. Ike McBride tries to put up a stiff arm, but she is absolutely blown up by Aiden Davis, who has taken his lumps at times this game, Stephen, but he has the last laugh on that play.
Yeah, Aiden Davis absolutely zeroed in and makes the open field tackle on McBride, one of the harder running backs to bring down here in the SFL. Does a terrific job forcing this 3rd and 7.
7th catch of the game for McBride. She's up to 24 touches. That's her season average. Fennick all day over the middle into traffic, knocked away by David Horrell. He was going for Dave Axis, was Ace Fennick, but Horrell is there for another pass deflection. His 14th of the season, top 10 in the league.
And Horrell just everywhere in this ball game, absolutely able to knock that ball down with pretty much ease as the defensive play call puts him in perfect position to defend the slant route.
Yeah, great coverage by the middle linebacker who has broken onto the scene in a big way. Again, the first overall pick ahead of last season out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and he has lived up to that billing and then some. He's been fantastic. Was last season and has equaled it with another really good season here as a sophomore, playing behind his daughter, Katherine Horrell, on the interior of the Fort Worth defense. So here comes William Zuderveld, who was one of the stars of the show in the first quarter, but not for a good reason, as he had his punt blocked that Lone Star, of course, ended up picking up a first down on. And Cade Stevens ready for a return, already with a kick 6 today, and he picks up a couple on that return. Visit the all-new SFL League website at www.simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player to join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it. Links to apparel, helmets, and a comprehensive history of the SFL. It's over 1,500 games, and it's thousands of players who have hit the virtual field. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Themselves in the playoffs for good. Fort Worth has already locked a spot up. Lone Star trying to do the same with a victory. On the ground, Jason Williams, who just had the touchdown run for the Toros on the last possession, tackled by Lewis Pfeiffer.
And this Fort Worth defense is given not only their offense great field position, but an opportunity to get them back into this game. On the last series, Fort Worth able to punch it in for a touchdown with Jason Williams. That's after a nice long pass completed to Stephen Hacker. Now an opportunity here for them to put more points on the board in the fourth quarter.
Both of these teams have been excellent defending the run all year. Curtis into traffics right into the hand of Freddie Trammell. That could have been a pick. And 56 on the other side made a pass deflection for Fort Worth. And now Lone Star's got one of their own, 9th of the year for Trammell.
So many times we see these SFL quarterbacks, they get a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket, have to make a throw on the run. That's where we see a lot of turnovers take place. So very dangerous pass and a missed opportunity there for Lone Star.
Remember, only 17 interceptions thrown by Cam Curtis all season, second fewest in the league, but he's thrown 2 today after he threw 5 last week, a career high. Deep drop for him here on 3rd and 6. Deep bomb. Stephen Hacker's wide open. Inside the 20, he accelerates and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Toros. The Hacker in the end zone for the 7th time this season.
Well, if there's one man that you don't leave wide open on the corner route, it's Stephen Hacker here, and the defense just doesn't have the jets that Hacker does, as he's able to outrun everybody, including Martin Jr., their number 44, to get that touchdown. And boy, we have a ball game.
First touchdown pass of the game for Cameron Curtis. A big strike of 57 yards to Stephen Hacker, who's now over 1,100 on the campaign, and his 7th touchdown catch. One of the best in the SFL. Strikes once again for his hometown team. He developed this team last season with his longtime friend Luis Gonzalez, 2 Fort Worth natives, to bring the team back to their hometown in Fort Worth. They're now the 3rd team in the state of Texas, obviously joining Lone Star and Houston with Damon Simeon, who's been in the league for a while now. There are now 3 teams in this triumvirate, the Texas Trio, as I like to call it. Part of this South Division here in the SFL, as the league has gone back to a division format after a few years outside of it. This South Division has been fantastic. Fort Worth already the champions of the South Division. They're 3-0 entering action today. Could obviously move to 4-0 with the win against Lone Star. But entering action this week, they were the only division in which all 4 teams were 500 or better. No other division could say that, and they could end the season with all 4 teams at 500 or better. Solid return building up for Fennec here. All of that, of course, hinges on what Houston does in the midweek against London in a to-be remade game against the Knights that was not able to happen earlier this season. If Houston wins that game, they'll be 6-6. Lone Star, regardless of if they win this season or win today, will be 500 or better. Mexico City is already in the playoffs. Fort Worth is already in the playoffs. Could be 9-3 as the number 3 seed. This division has been fantastic, and Fort Worth a worthy champion. But Lone Star now back on the ball, still leading as we play the 4th quarter. Ace Fennec on the ground. They go to McBride. One cut step taken down after a gain of 1. Another tackle for E.K. Vincent. He's got 8.
And it just speaks to the competitiveness of this division. I mean, all of these teams are playoff worthy here, and the fact that they're all, a lot of them there in the Lone Star State just builds those rivalries and those storylines. And, they're just started really doing that. And now we could see these 2 teams for the next few years competing and the kind of history they can build against each other.
Go back to McBride, and she runs right into David Horrell, who continues to put his stamp on this game. A pass deflection, a fumble recovery, and now a one-on-one tackle of McBride, a gain of just 1.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden here, Fort Worth's defense, they just have turned it on and realized they can smell blood in the water here with just a 4-point lead to try and overcome.
Horrell now 7 tackles. Vincent with 7 as well. Fennec will throw on 3rd and 8 over the middle. Has the man caught for a first down. That's Deuce Fennec. Ace to Deuce once again. Lone Star out across the 40-yard line. A big pickup on 3rd down.
Well, talk about clutch accuracy here. Having to float this one over the defense. Great job by the other Fennec, Deuce Fennec, to get that separation off the defender on the all slants. Able to bring that one in. That might be one of the biggest key plays in this ball game.
Remember, Fort Worth's defense has been excellent, top 5 in the SFL in almost everything, best in the SFL in a couple of categories, not third down defense. They give up 52%, that's bottom third of the league, and McBride's going to pick up a first down on first down. Rumbles up and picks up about 11. Adam Leach on the stop, back-to-back first downs for the Glory.
Wow, these star players have come to play today, and in clutch time here, they can feel their lead starting to slip away, but these guys here are playing lights out and their best ball here in the fourth quarter.
Just to hammer home my point, Lone Star is now 8 of 12 on third down in this game, 66.7%. Fort Worth just 3 of 10, usually one of the better offensive teams on third down. Again, they go to McBride. Another nice run as she jumps over a fallen lineman and picks up 4.
Yeah, and they're just hammering her like right down the middle of the offensive line. They're trusting their blocking, their excellent blocking of their offensive line to help bully this defense that has been, as we've said so many times in this game, the league's best, and they are just doing everything they want against them right now.
Averaging south of 3 yards per carry in this game, Mike McBride, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like she's had a really big impact on the ground, especially here in the second half. 2nd and 6, Fennick top of the screen, caught by Deuce Fennick again. Another first down for Lone Star. They continue to churn. Catherine Horrell makes the stop as you get a look at what's on the line for Fort Worth. A win, and they're the number 3 seed. A loss, they could be the 3 or the 4. It all hinges on what Baltimore does later on this afternoon against the DC Dragons. If Fort Worth wins, then Arizona will also get in. A Fort Worth win gives them the number 3 spot. That's what they care most about. Another stop in the backfield. That time, Catherine Horrell does make the play, stopping McBride for a loss of 2. What a season she's had.
Yeah, terrific. Really quick penetration through this defense and able to get the one arm around the hulking Ike McBride, who we've seen so many times in this game power through defenders, can't power through Horrell.
Remember, the Caudill brothers, Rylan and Bobo, left and right guard respectively, are on the interior of this Lone Star offense, and Catherine Horrell is still exploiting them. Wide open, top of the screen, it's Adam Williams. They've run that quick tight end hitter quite a few times in this game, Stephen. He picks up about 6 that time.
And let's not forget, this is an important point here. They're in field goal range for most teams. Might not necessarily be in field goal range for their non-star kicker. So they chose not to invest in a kicker necessarily, have a role player in that role. So it might be important for them if they want to put points on the board, get up by 7 to get a first down here.
Fennick will throw. Instead, it hits his receiver in the helmet and falls down. Williams was there, and you see Ace Fennick flabbergasted by that result. He had 2 targets there, but neither could pull it in.
Wow, and that just puts them in just a really awkward position here. Do you go and attempt a field goal with the threat of possibly giving your opponent better field position, or do you go ahead and just punt it to play the field position game and don't have the opportunity for 3 points, and they're just going to punt it here?
Now, from the 30-yard line, they will punt it with Zuderveld rather than attempting a 47-yarder from Purvis, who made from 43 earlier in this game. So Zuderveld with his toes on the 40 to the near sideline. Stevens makes a fair catch at the 11, so a net of just 19 yards on that punt. Lone Star in the driver's seat, though, in this game. A win, and they get the number 8 seed. They would host either Vancouver or Jacksonville next week, but if they lose, they could still miss the playoffs if LA wins later this afternoon against Vancouver and Houston wins in the midweek against London. A loss does not mean Lone Star is out, but a loss would make their week a lot more dangerous. They have to sweat things out. Williams is under pressure immediately. Talk about sweating. He is thrown down for a loss of 2. A loss of 4, actually, by Lincoln Kingseed, the safety.
Well, here's the narrative in this game right now that's just been created. The fact that they decide on the 30-yard line, I was talking about the Lone Star Glory, not to try a field goal, instead to go for the punt. Will that haunt them in this game?
Now the defense is able to step up and put Fort Worth behind the sticks. They will go back to Williams, and he's tackled at the line of scrimmage. Back-to-back plays by this Lone Star defense. And again, it's a safety that makes the play. Doug Day.
Yeah, and maybe even a threat of a safety potentially, as I think just being so far back in the shadow of their own goalpost that Fort Worth has decided to run the football. Let's see if they actually go through the air here on 3rd and 13.
Pack it in on 3rd and 13. Is this Robert Garrett Jr.'s time? He's streaking over the middle. Curtis hit as he throws into traffic, and it's picked off. right into the hands of Evan Lacey. The rookie has his 6th interception of the season. Curtis has thrown his 3rd pick of the game, and Lone Star will take over deep inside Toro territory.
And the Toros opt to go for a very short drop by the quarterback. He felt the pressure almost immediately, threw that ball because of the pressure, threw it earlier than he wanted to, and that resulted in a pick and terrific position for the Glory here to take the lead, and that punt pays off.
The Glory are a solid pressure team. They had 21 sacks, which is top half of the SFL entering action today. But again, Fort Worth does not give up very many. Top 10 in fewest sacks allowed. But now they will give it to McBride as Lone Star has the ball again. And Ike McBride has continued to dominate in the 4th quarter. Again, a slow start to the game, an average of less than 3 yards per carry. But she's on another level here in the 4th. Gets 9 that time.
And McBride, you can see that her eyes were just so wide open. She wanted to go ahead and get that into the end zone right then. Let's go ahead and secure this lead and possibly win this ball game right off that one run.
From just outside the 10, from the 3-back set now, and Fennick under center. He will take his time. They'll snap it. The give to McBride. Lowers the shoulder. Ike McBride, touchdown. Lone Star. She might have sealed it there that time.
Yeah, and it's the power formation. The extra blocker really helped. And it's just Mike McBride being patient and doing what she's done all night, which is just tear up Toro defenders with that shoulder charge.
Her massive 4th quarter continues. You called it as it was happening, Stephen. The tonal shift, the paradigm shift. Lone Star in the second half as they've had the lead, albeit a slim one at the halftime break. They went to McBride to try to ride it out, to try to kill some clock, to try to get her going. That time they go to her on back-to-back plays, and she punches it in. The Glory extend their lead. Purvis is back out for another PAT. Nearly blocked. Oh, man, that would have been something. But he sails it through with no further issue. And the Glory once again lead by 11.
Yeah, you see that kind of missed snap there, and you think, okay, well, now I see why they didn't want to go for the field goal on the 30-yard line. But it was a gamble not to do so, and to punt it and play the field position game despite only leading by 4 points. Had an opportunity to go up 7, decided just to keep it within 4 points, and that gamble paid off huge with the interception near the end zone, and then Ike McBride able to power her way to a touchdown, giving them this 11-point lead.
Here comes Cade Stevens. We know he can make some magic happen. Gets just out to the 30-yard line. And Cameron Curtis is going to come back out with an opportunity to right the ship once again. He's thrown 3 picks in this game. Get this, Stephen. Only 12 interceptions thrown over his first 10 games as a starter in the SFL. And if you're new to this league, quarterbacks in this league throw a lot of picks, usually 2 or 3 per game on average. Curtis only 12 over his first 10 games, but now 8 over his last 2 in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. He will flip it out here to Jason Williams, and he can't get around the blocker. He's blown up in the backfield for a loss by Day.
And there's going to be a lot of attention to the amount of points that was been scored against this Toros defense, but this Lone Star defense has come to play tonight.
Wide open, top of the screen, it's Chris Komisak. He will stay in bounds and pick up 5, and then he gets plastered as well by Martin Jr.
Not sure if the Toros have the right play in here to take advantage of this defense.
4 down linemen for Lone Star. Fort Worth guns it over the middle. It's caught. Cade Stevens quiet after his big first quarter, but he gets out to midfield.
Yeah, and that just make me eat my words there. Just a terrific play there to get him in the middle of the field.
Got a couple of crossers over the middle. It's caught once again for a gain of 8. Fort Worth will continue the hurry up. That's Stephen Hacker who lines up in the right slot.
They're just marching down the field right now, Tim.
This is the best-looking Fort Worth drive of the game. Curtis off his back foot, guns it into traffic, and it's caught somehow by Hacker. Right around the veteran Lincoln King seat, another first down.
Curtis delivering the dot on the run.
Well, pirouettes off his heel. Now Curtis under less pressure this time. He'll flip it out to Komisak, and Komisak cannot turn the corner, but he will stop the clock finally. That brings that frenetic pace for Fort Worth to a close.
Yeah, and gives us a bit of a breather, too. Goodness gracious. That would just dot down the field. You didn't think it was ever going to stop, and you had offensive coordinators across the league looking and writing down what that play was because that was just so successful.
Komisak runs out of bounds by himself. Now from the 30-yard line. Fort Worth trailing by 11. Curtis floats it up. It's pulled down right on cue. There he is. First catch of the game for Robert Garrett Jr.
Goes up and brings it down. We said he needed a big play. There it is.
22 yards now from the 8. Curtis over the middle. Caught again. Touchdown. Back-to-back catches for the Cowboy. And the Toros are right back in it.
Well, yeehaw. Good to see you, my friend. Where have you been this entire game? They call his number 44, and it resulted in a pick six before here. It results in 6 in the most clutch time that you could have it, trying to pull this game once again within 4. Will they go for 2 to make it within a field goal if successful?
That's a great question. We've seen them not elect to do so on the last few opportunities, but now they will with less than 3 minutes left. They will trot the offense back out there. Split backs and 3 wides for Cameron Curtis with a 5-point deficit. They will give it to Williams, turns up the middle, and no dice. Brian Craven was there for the stop, and Lone Star stays up by 5.
And look, and again, scoring 41 points against this terrific Toros defense, that's going to be the headline. But what's going to be missed in all of that is this great defensive performance by the Glory. They have done what they have needed to do in this ball game to give their offense the opportunities they had.
That's by far a season high points conceded for Fort Worth. The previous season high was 33. Their Week 10 win over Mexico City. Short kickoff fielded by Deuce Fennick, and Lone Star, will try to seal this game up with less than 3 minutes left in regulation. Next weekend on Next Level Sports and for the fans, the SFL playoffs take center stage with 4 wildcard matchups. Coverage starts on NLS Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern and on For the Fans on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern with the best teams, the best broadcasters, and the most exciting sim football of the year. These two teams trying to lock up spots for good in the postseason. A win and they're in for Lone Star. On the ground they go to Ike McBride. She picks up just 2.
Yeah, and look, this is just, if this is any type of preview of what we're going to see in the postseason, and it's going to be must-see TV next Sunday. So set your calendars, set those dates in there. Be sure that you come back and join us because you're going to see the best of what this league has.
After the onside kick, Lone Star now with the ball inside Fort Worth territory as they pick it up. Clock ticking down towards 2 minutes. The Glory will have to snap it. They will do so, and they'll give it off to Ike McBride. Throws down Blake Prine, and then is brought down after a gain of just 2. That could have been a lot worse. Nash on the stop. 2-minute warning. Glory on top by 5. This is the SFL on For the Fans. Week 12 of the Simulation Football League continues from Denton, Texas. We welcome those of you who are joining us on Next Level Sports. This is the Simulation Football League alongside Stephen Molinax. I'm Tim Hackett. Lone Star on top by 5 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter with the ball on the 30-yard line trying to lock this game up for good. They will go to Ike McBride. She's buried in the backfield for a 2-yard loss by David Horrell. The Horrells in this game, Stephen, have been on another level. David Horrell has recovered a fumble. Catherine Horrell has made a couple of stops in the backfield. One of the craziest games of this regular season here in the last week of the regular season. A win for Lone Star, and they lock up a playoff berth. That's what's at stake here with less than 2 minutes to go.
And then once again, the backup or the non-star kicker comes into play here as Lone Star forced to punt despite being into field goal range, giving Fort Worth an opportunity to still win this game.
It's pretty much exactly where they punted from on their last offensive possession, and Zuderveld will drop it in perfectly. It's dropped at the 2-yard line, and Fort Worth will have to go 98 yards to take the lead. Like we said, a win for the Glory, and they are lead by 5 with about 90 seconds left. They lock up the number 8 seed. A loss, and they could be out of the postseason picture entirely based on what Houston does against London later on this week. A win, and they're in. A loss means Lone Star has to sweat it out. Fort Worth is already in. They're the South Division champions here in season 16. A win, and they lock up the number 3 seed in a first-round bye. Cameron Curtis from his own end zone has all day, zips it over the middle, and it's caught for a gain of 9 by Kate Stevens, whose big day continues. At a kick 6 at the end of the first half.
And now 89 yards they need to go to win this ball game. A field goal will not do it. They got to get in the end zone.
Toros have only 2 timeouts left. Curtis zipped it, caught Stephen Hacker. Once again, only King Seed can stop him to the sideline. One man still to beat. Stephen Hacker, 89 yards to the house. And the Toros take the lead in the fourth quarter.
They did it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They have come back in this ball game to take the lead. It's been so long since we've been able to say that. And it's a poster out there by the one and only Stephen Hacker, who has made play after play after play. Big games can make big time players, and this time it's Stephen Hacker, possibly for the win.
It is a hack attack here in Denton. The Toros trying to win for the first time ever over their new in-state rivals, the Lone Star Glory. Lone Star beat them twice, both by double digits in season 15. And now the Toros will once again try to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Again, they will go to Jason Williams. And for the second time in this game, the Lone Star defense is ready for it. They go to Williams up the middle. The Glory are there to stop it. It's still a 1-point game.
And here we come down to the kicker once again for Lone Star Glory. I mean, look, they just need a field goal to win this game. They just got to get in the field goal range. But field goal range for their kicker is what's debatable here. So they've got to, with 1:23 left, they've got to get it deep into Toros territory to ensure a field goal for this win.
Service has made from 43 in this game, and they will get out to the 25. Get this, last week for Stephen Hacker, Fort Worth's 3rd straight win as they took down London. 7 catches, 196 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Today, unofficially, as Fort Worth has taken the lead over Lone Star. 6 catches, 191 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He has been absolutely fantastic down the stretch of this regular season as he tries to lead his hometown team to a first-round bye. They've already locked that up because of Florida's win earlier this afternoon over Jacksonville. Fennick now trying to lead a comeback. He links up over the middle with his brother Deuce, pickup of 7.
And Fennick already over 300 yards in this game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, fantastic game brewing for Fennick. That was a pass to Soto. Goes right back to Greg Soto, but he's held down short of the sticks, and not even his momentum will get him across.
Well, this is 4-down territory, so they're not sweating that here, and they're sticking with this play.
Less than a minute to go. 3 timeouts for the Glory, trailing by 1. Fennick over the middle, right back to Greg Soto. 3 straight passes, and it works.
That clock is a-ticking, and they've got to get into really close field goal range here. Probably looking for another at least 40 yards.
1-on-1 at the bottom of the screen against Davis. Soto will cut over the middle, and for the 4th straight time, that pass works. Horrell on the stop. David Horrell, that is. Delaney Nash there, too. And Lone Star will use its first timeout with 33 seconds left.
And I'm not sure, Tim, if that timeout doesn't really hurt Lone Star. They had a play there that they were just running over and over again and found success against this Fort Worth tight, tough defense. They had found a key to get them down the field. It was taking a lot of time off the clock, but they had the timeouts to burn. Now they'll throw another play in there.
4 plays for 24 yards, all through the air to Greg Soto. Right from midfields. Lone Star has a long way to go to get in range for their kicker, Hugh Purvis, but they trail by just 1. Ike McBride, who's been lethal in this second half, picks up the first down, a gain of 5, another timeout for the Glory.
And now they've flipped the side of the field. They're on Fort Worth territory, Fort Worth 45. And they've had to use yet another timeout. They've got 1 left, 29 seconds on the clock. If you're going to throw the ball, you want to throw it probably towards the out-of-bound marker. I'm not sure I'd be running the ball at all. So this should be a pass here. If you get it down the middle, it needs to be a big chunk play, and you need to use that last timeout probably.
Lone Star needs about 20 more yards to get in range. Remember, they punted from the 30 twice in this half alone. Fennec will throw. Deep bomb over the middle. That's caught. That might do it inside the 25-yard line.
They have time enough to spike this here. Quarterback's got to get under center quick.
Adam Williams, the tight end, on the catch. Here comes Fennec, and he will spike it with 14 seconds left. And now a decision for Brian Craven and company for Lone Star. What do you do, Stephen Mullinax?
Wow. Okay, we've seen it. The in exchange between the center and the holder be very sketchy on those extra points that we've seen. But I think they're going to go ahead and kick this here. I wouldn't be opposed to maybe using the running back to put him in better position here, but they're just going to go ahead and try to go ahead and get the lead now.
Remember, not every team in the SFL has a star kicker. You can allocate these points in those positions however you want. Lone Star is elected to not do so, and Hugh Purvis has the game on his foot. Another low snap, hold down from Jacob Parrott, and Purvis knocks it through 40. And with 10 seconds left, the Glory go back ahead at home.
Well, we've seen so many gambles by the Glory in this game. Well, the Glory took a gamble by not signing a kicker at the beginning of this season, and it doesn't hurt him here. He's clutch for them when he absolutely needed him. 2-point lead, but don't forget, we've seen a kick return for a touchdown here by the Toros. Could it happen again?
Gage Stevens ended the first half with a kick six off the boot of Purvis. Can he do it again? Is time ticking down in the second half? He goes up the middle, and this time he's got nowhere to go. 6 seconds left. Fort Worth will start on the 32. They do have 2 timeouts left and only trailing by 2 points. They're going to need another miracle here.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have enough time to pull this off, but what we normally see here in these type of situations, the offense will look to get near the midfield marker, a little bit closer there, so they can run their Hail Mary play.
6 seconds left, 2 timeouts for Fort Worth, and now the Glory on top by 2 in this rivalry match in Week 12. Curtis guns it near side, right to the sideline goes Stephen Hacker, and right on cue. That's what you're talking about, Stephen Mullinax. A gain of 7. Hacker over 200 yards here in the regular season finale. One last gasp for the Toros.
And let's see what formation they come out in. Do they think their quarterback has the arm to throw the Hail Mary bomb here? Let's see.
Lone Star.
Don't forget, Hacker's been able to break away from plays that aren't necessarily bomb plays, and they're not going to go for the bomb, so this is going to be just a normal play here, but Hacker's the one to watch.
Harrod Jr. is adept at these situations as well. Fort Worth 61 yards away, and they will check it down short, and the pass is caught, but it's not going to matter. Lone Star improves to 3-0 all-time in this franchise series. They clinch a playoff spot in Season 16. The Glory hold on to win a thriller, 44-42.
Well, this game featured 2 of the best defensive teams in the league, and yet we have a final score of 44-42, just to give you an idea of what kind of a wild and terrific game this was on both sides of the ball. We've just seen some weird and wacky plays. We've seen some terrific plays, and I think we saw the stars of these teams come to life when they needed them. This is the end of the season. You want to have that momentum going into the postseason, and I think actually both of these teams got to feel really positive about the way that they performed today.
Fort Worth's 3-game win streak comes to a close. They're now 0-3 all-time against Lone Star. But to your point, Stephen, both teams looked really good at times. Yeah, 86 combined points for 2 of the best defenses in the league. Fort Worth, the number 1 defense in the league at less than 16.5 points conceded on average through 11 weeks. But both teams have star moments. Here's one of the biggest plays of the game, one of the big touchdown bombs from Cameron Curtis to Stephen Hacker. Greg Soto made some plays. Dave Axis had a big touchdown. So did Deuce Fennec. Ace Fennec played an almost perfect game for Lone Star. They are now going into the postseason hot as they lock up the playoff spot. No sweating required for the Glory. They're in with this win.
Yeah, and they're going to secure themselves the 8th spot there in the playoffs. And now the question is, where will the Fort Worth Toros slot in? Will it be 3rd? Will it be 4th? And then, of course, who their opponents might be. So a lot of still things to be determined and more games to be played. 2 more today and then 1 on Wednesday prior to the postseason taking place. So plenty of great action, meaningful action that will have impact on the playoffs, even in Wednesday's final matchup.
One of the most important games of this last week of the regular season coming up next on Next Level Sports. Los Angeles at Vancouver, another in-division showdown. LA won earlier this year, but Vancouver is on a hot stretch. Chris Curtis and Josh Zirkle are standing by for the call of that one. And then later on this week, Houston against London, a game that could have some serious playoff implications. The Lone Star wins. They are the 8th seed in the postseason starting next week. That means they will play at home, where they have been lethal in their franchise history. There's a look at the winning kick from Hugh Purvis, and the MVP of this final game of the regular season, no surprise, Ace Fennick, 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. Stephen Molinax, your final thoughts.
Yeah, what a game, Tim. I mean, this is the kind of playoff type of game that we expect from the postseason. To get this in week 12, to have this high of a competition and this fun of a game and competitive of a game was just a treat.
It's a glorious Sunday afternoon indeed. We'll take a break and send it to the post-game show. Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green standing by. Thanks for watching. For Stephen Molinax, Delaney Nash, I've been Tim Hackett. We'll see you next time. So long.
And welcome to the SFL post-game update along with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. Wowzers. Lone Star 44, Fort Worth 42, and the Glory for the second straight season are in the playoffs. Mike, your first thoughts?
Wow, Cam, incredible matchup here between Lone Star and Fort Worth. They are now 3-0 against their rivals from Fort Worth. And great game today from Ace Fennick. 352 yards, 3 touchdowns. But man, this game had wild plays all over the place. Block punts, kick returns, huge plays on offense on both sides. You know, receivers going off for huge yardage and touchdowns. What a fantastic way to start our Sunday coverage.
Absolutely. And Lone Star has now clinched the 8th seed. They will take on either Jacksonville or Vancouver. And we'll find out who they will play depending upon what happens in Canada. Coming up here on Next Level Sports, the Battle of the Pacific. Los Angeles and Vancouver. Baltimore and D.C. has a ton of playoff implications. The Vultures still could not get a first-round bye. There are scenarios out there in which that comes into play. They're wanting to lock that up. The season coming to a crescendo here, Mike, this afternoon on NXT.
Yeah, division title on the line, LA at Vancouver. It's pretty simple for LA. Cam, protect quarterback Sully Richardson. They're leading the league in sacks with 44 sacks. They're going to have to control that Vancouver front seven and see if they can get Sully Richardson going. And also, maybe one other way to get this guy, protect this quarterback, running back Robert Johnson, get this guy going, see if he can get some yardage that way. And in that way, that may give Sully Richardson a little more time. But that LA defense, the secondary, Ryan Yosef, Rochelle Colston are going to have their work cut out for them today. They're going up against a vaunted passing attack of Vancouver. Tom Pepper leads the league in yardage, touchdowns. It's second in QBR, so it's going to be a tough task for LA today, but we'll see if they're up to it to win this division title.
Kickoff for Baltimore and DC is in 30 minutes time. We will have the kickoff for LA and Vancouver coming up next. Josh Zirkle and Chris Curtis have the call. This has been the SFL postgame update, and you're watching the SFL on Next Level Sports.